Let me just make sure we're recording. Okay. Okay, hi everybody. I got a really special treat for you. Um, I am at our barber shop, and and this is Aaron, and he's going to be cutting my hair. And I'm guessing you all have heard one of those 3D, those virtual barber shops. Well, you're gonna see me getting and hear me getting a haircut from my perspective. Um, and the whole point of it is to show about what I go through and how a blind person what it feels like. And if you are wearing headphones, like I said in the beginning of the video, great, and do enjoy it. So thank you so much, Aaron, for doing this.
You're welcome. Welcome.
So Aaron's gonna describe, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna this would be good advice for these would be good advice for hairdressers and barbers to follow when helping blind people, getting a haircut in a safe and friendly way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, my name's Aaron. So we start with Jacob just sitting back and relaxing. And what I do is, essentially what I'm doing is just describing what I'm doing just before I do it, so that Jacob knows as we go what to expect. The point is, as we've done this a number of times now, we've gotten fairly quick at it, and he's been able to relax and really just enjoy the ride instead of always being tense and always being a little jumpy, if I can use the expression. So what I'm going to do now is put the cape on Jacob, coming in from the right. Just got to roll his collar down here a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put the neck strip in. Now normally we don't have the cords for the microphone, so this is slightly unusual, but that's all right.
It's just a normal cape, that you would use when you go to a hairdresser, or. Because I know some blind people don't get a haircut at a normal hairdresser. They'll let their parents cut their hair. So that's why I'm also saying that.
Which is also fine, but they've also had years to get used to each other.
Right.
And how things go. So now I'm going to add some water to the top of Jacob's hair, coming in from his right side. And then with a comb, get the water to go through. Now normally what we do is we start with his beard. So I'll put the water in just to get it to soak in a little bit. And then we'll shave his beard off. And sorry, I'm assuming we're doing the beard.
And for you blind viewers out there, he's just using a normal spray gun.
Sorry, a little water spritzer.
Little water bottle, spray bottle.
So I'm using a wall detailer, which normally is used for hair tattooing, but I like how it does the edges of hair and also how it trims beards. So that's what I'm using. So I'm coming in from Jacob's right, and I'm going to start right where the hair becomes the sideburns and goes into the beard. Normally we start center of the ear, so I'm going to begin there, and then I'm going to work down. It's not always really necessary to explain every little thing if you work steadily in a discernible pattern. But if I'm going to do a major change, like if I'm going to go from his right side to his left side, and I find it helpful to tell him. Like right now I'm going to come up and I'm going to come under his nostrils and I'm going to work left. Sorry, yes, I am blocking the camera. But this will only be momentary. Then come back under his nostrils and work to the right. And then we're going to follow along under the lip. This is the part of the haircut where not a lot of talking happens, because obviously we can't have his jaw running around while I'm trying to trim his beard. Okay, so we're done this side, so now I'm going to move to the left side.
And you'll hear a sound change. And the other thing is very important is that what Aaron does here is he touches my face to indicate to me when I first started. He would touch my face to show me where he's going to cut and in which direction.
Yes, that's something I've forgotten. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
See, normally I would say, okay, we're going to start here and we're going to move down and then forward. So Jacob, even before the clippers would touch him, would know exactly what to expect. So now we're coming in on the left side, around the sideburn area. And just bring your chin up slightly. Right there, perfect. Coming up under your jaw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The
so
biggest
there we
thing
are.
is that this is for all those hairdressers and barbers and stylists that are very quiet. You know, they don't use their voice that much. They just use their voice to the bare minimums. While with a blind person, you really gotta communicate what you're doing, and you gotta get out of that comfort zone, and not be afraid of communicating what you're doing to that person who you're helping.
The key is what seems obvious to me isn't obvious to Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got some water on the top here. So I'm going to switch to the clippers, and now we're going to come in on the right hand side, and we're going to start to come up and trim the sides.
Okay.
So now this is a different style of clipper. Excuse me, sorry. So here we are with the clippers on, and now we're going to start in the same sideburn area, but now we're going to come up instead of down. I'm going to come up most of the way, and then we're going to start working along and just keeping steady, keeping the pattern steady. Obviously working around the microphones is slightly challenging. Now we're going to come around to the neck area behind Jacob's ear, and we're going to come up and over the ear at this point. Sorry, just hold your head up straight. Thank you. You're going to hear me bump into the microphone a number of times. I apologize for that. Now we're going to start. No, we're going to carry on working around.
And if you're using headphones, you can hear the sound of your right ear.
Now mainly the work area has moved towards the back of the neck, lower down. And we're going to follow along now. At different times you'll be asked to either tip your head backwards or forwards. This is simply to make it easier for us to reach hair that, say, at the back of the neck has grown in an odd direction. We all have hair growth patterns where there's swirls and there's different movements, growth patterns of the hair, and so sometimes just moving your head makes it easier for us. So I'm now going to come in at the center of the back of Jacob's neck, and I'm going to get him to tip his head forward a little bit, right there, thank you. And then work along his neck to the right, and then back to center and work along his neck to the left. to get Jacob to hold his head back up straight. Thank you.
Sometimes you have to turn off the clippers sometimes to adjust a few things.
Yep. I also find for me it gives me peace of mind, especially when I'm moving, by turning the clippers off. If something happens, I move where I shouldn't or I'm not paying attention where my hand is, the blades aren't going, so nothing gets cut that we want to keep. So now I'm on the left hand side and I'm going to start back in the sideburn region in front of his left ear. And we're going to be coming up again.
And you should be hearing the sound out of your left ear.
Now I'm going to come around to his neck behind his left ear, right in this area, and up we go. And again, we're going to run the microphone over here, but it so far seems to have survived. Sorry, I got it. I'm coming along just along the upper part of the left side here.
I think the other thing is to keep in mind is that, you know, there's quite a few blind people that have other disabilities as well. Like some have autism, some don't have any others, but you gotta really adapt to their needs when you're doing it. So it's kind of a, you have to kind of really examine what your clients are like,
And openness and communication goes both ways.
Yeah.
If there's things like certain sensitivities that we are not told about, we can't compensate for them. I have to get a little more on the upper right side here.
And just for my blind viewers, you're using just normal clippers.
Yeah, these are just, you'll find them in almost every barber shop or hairstyling salon. We haven't gone...
And the first one that you were using, was it the T-blade?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Which again is quite common, but it's basically just to clean up around the ears and the neck.
Yeah.
So now I've switched to a slightly smaller clipper guard, and we're going to do the lower part of the sides and back of Jacob. And so we're going to do pretty much exactly what we just did, just not as high. So we're going to start on the right hand side again.
Okay.
Now this one we are really going to hit into the microphone. So I've pulled Jacob's ear down a bit to try and ease the process. Now we're coming to the back of the neck, just behind the ear. We're going to work up and we're going to run into the microphone again. Everybody, whether they're sighted or blind, has a habit of turning their head when a hairstylist or barber is working around their ear. That is not always helpful. So just something for you guys to work on as well. Behind the ear, still on the right hand side. Yeah, it's just there's something natural. As soon as we take a hold of the ear and pull it, people automatically turn their head. We're not trying to get you to turn your head. We're just making it easier so we don't bump your ear. Some people have sensitive skin, and the clippers bumping into them can actually cause mild irritation. So it's for your own comfort. Now we're at the back of the neck on the right hand side. We're going to carry on. Now we're going to just continue on from the bottom of the left neck up over the ear. And again, I'm going to take a hold of Jacob's ear and pull it down. I don't think I've ever told you that before, Jacob. Sorry. I don't think I ever told you about the ear thing before. Sorry, I waited till the video.
No.
All right, so I'm coming to the left-hand sideburn, and we're going to come up in front of the ear now. There, so now for the time being, we're done with the clippers. Now I'm back on Jacob's right again. And And I am a caffeine addict, so I'm just going to have a quick drink of coffee here.
No worries.
Pardon me, thank you. Okay, we need to put some more water in Jacob's hair. So I'm on his right hand side, and I'm going to start by combing his hair backwards from the back, working my way forward as I add water to the hair. Doesn't matter if we're standing on the left or right, but there's always going to be a little spot on the opposite side. And if you don't do it right, you're going to get water running everywhere, which I'm trying to minimize. So I'm now on the left hand side, and I'm just going to add a little bit more water here. There, just like that.
And blind people, I know quite a few people have been asking me, oh, can blind people give haircuts? Well, I mean, I guess if they have the proper equipment and knowledge and training.
Now, we're going to start at the front. I'm standing behind Jacob, simply because that's the easiest way to do it. And I'm going to start by combing his hair backwards and then gathering it into my fingers. Something that should be warned about is when we cut the hair from the front on top, it falls directly forwards, sometimes bumping into the eyes or sometimes bumping into the nose. So it can be a little startling if you're not expecting it. So that's why it can be helpful to just warn children as well as blind people that, okay, your hair is going to drop right into your face potentially, and you just need to be prepared for it. And then we just keep
Again,
going.
I don't think that's something you've ever warned me about.
Whoops. Sorry. Never crossed my mind until now, perhaps. Yes, we're not saying we've got this whole system down perfectly, but here's some things that we've found out.
Mm-hmm.
And just come back to the front. Now you'll also notice I've been cutting Jacob's hair for a few years now, so there are things that we're kind of used to each other, so I don't actually say them, so I'm still trying to remember to vocalize what I'm doing as I'm doing it.
So when I first came, Aaron would let me feel the T-blade so that I know what it looks like and how it works.
So every piece of equipment that I would use, I would bring Jacob's hands out and let him hold them. Not so much with the scissors, but I would let him touch the cutting ends. Not that his fingers were in danger, but just so he had an idea of what was going to be against his skin or what was going to be close to the side of his head. Now we're on the left-hand side.
You guys can probably hear the scissors. And that's why a lot of people, even like, sighted people, some people go to different places to get their haircuts. But a lot of people, when they find the hairdresser or a barber that they like, they tend to stick to it.
Yep, absolutely. There's a comfort that you develop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about being blind or anything like that. It's often personality or patience or speed or...
And the fun fact about me, and an interesting fact about me, I never like men touching me. But I allow Aaron to do it because I know that his communication skill is on point. So that's why I gain his trust in allowing me to get my hair cut by him.
So I'm now working my way back right across to the other side again.
Now, some barbers, Aaron doesn't do this, but some barbers use like a whole bunch of different clippers and scissors, and some barbers, use like not many, in at least in Canada, use a straight razor anymore. You can find them
Mainly in the cities.
normally in the city, right? Oh,
Now, what we need to do is now I'm on the. See, I forgot to warn him I was going to do that. I'm on the right hand side, and we're now going to do the blending where the sides come into the top. There's not actually much left to do blending wise, but and then we still have to tidy up the front properly. So this is a process about 2 inches, 3 inches above the top of the ear, where you just kind of scissor over comb. Now I'm moving around to the left hand side, and we're going to repeat the process.
and I know a lot of blind people. We tend to struggle with finding like, okay, what are you trying to do? Like, are you trying to do a number 1, a 2, a 3? So, like I normally get, what is it I normally get?
A 2 into a 3.
Yeah.
So I start with a 3, which is what you saw me do the whole side of the head with. And then it was a 2 that I did the bottom half around the sides and back. There's a number of reasons for doing that. Style is one. Cost effectiveness is another. By taking it just a little shorter on the sides and back, the haircut tends to last a little longer. Which, for a lot of us, particularly at this time, money is actually quite an issue for people. So what I'm going to do, now we've got to finish cleaning up the front, the bangs area of Jacob's hair. So I'm going to bring my hand down the center of his head, and I'm going to bring the comb up in front of him. And now we're really going to take this in tight. I'm going to work to his right, and then we're going to work to his left. I don't know how good the microphones are. You might pick up a little bit of street noise. Okay, so I'm fairly confident that the right side's done. Now we move to the left side. I don't physically go there, but I'm cutting hair on that side. I am gonna this time though. So Jacob will be able to feel the scissors right against his skin as I came in and did that.
Yeah.
And then I'm moving to the left-hand side now.
And one of the most difficult things when it comes to doing the beard, sometimes you come to a point where it might pull the skin a little bit sometimes. I'm sorry, I had to mention it.
Oh no, it happens. At least this today was not bad. I didn't catch him at all. But so I'm back on the right-hand side. Now, before I get Jacob to bring his hands out, one of the things is, sorry, this is just bothering me. I'm going to just brush the hair off your forehead. You ready?
Yep.
It can be very, very itchy having all that loose hair just sitting on the forehead. So now that's done. So now we're going to clean up the edges. So the trimmer that I used on Jacob's beard is going to be the trimmer that I'm using to come along and clean up the edges. Now what we do, I'm going to start with the sideburn area. I'm going to start at the front and I'm going to come up and just follow the curve towards the center of his forehead. And then I'm going to come back to the sideburn, and now here's where we're really going to get fun and close with the microphones. Then I'm going to clean up all those loose little spiky hairs around the ears. So you might actually hear the sound of me bumping the microphone with the clippers, but here we go. So coming in from the right side. Make sure the side lines are square, and now we're going to come up. So I'm going to pull your ear down a little bit to try and minimize how much with it. Now I've got to come around behind. Sorry, I'm trying to get the microphone as far out as I can so I'm not hitting it too much. There we go. Okay, so now that's around the right ear. My left, your right. Now I'm going to come down further on the neck, and then I'm going to square up the back of the neck. So now I'm going to step around behind, and I'm going to start in the center of the neck and establish where I want the line to be, and then move to the right. Again, you'll see I was already halfway over to the right before I started saying that, so it's really good to do an educational video and kind of forget to do what you're saying. Now, we're going to start back in the center and come to the left this time. And then we're going to now come from the left up the neck towards the ear. And now we're going to get to go around the microphone on this ear. And I'm going to come into the front area and pull the ear back a bit. You might find, particularly at the back of the neck, I think this is another thing, so we're coming on to the front of the sideburn now. I think this is something I've never told Jacob either.
Oh.
Particularly around the neck area. You may find someone will put their finger or two fingers and pull down or put a little bit of pressure. What that does is it tenses the skin and it makes the hair stand up. So you can actually cut it a little closer. So if you're ever getting a haircut and you're wondering, why does this idiot keep pushing on my neck? We're just trying to get a little cleaner finish on the amount of hair that's left. Because other than a straight razor, you're never going to truly get it perfectly clean. And now I'm on the right hand side, just tidying up a corner that I didn't quite get right. Alright, back again. Now round to the left. And there we are. The other key thing is then we have to brush everything off. Sorry, I'm going to brush your forehead off again. Can you sit up straight for me? Perfect, right like that. Thank you. Now we're going to try and move the microphone so I can actually brush the loose hairs away from it. And then we're going to brush all the way around, following the skin that's now exposed. Up behind this ear. Ooh, sorry, I've got that microphone off to the side. Now, we clean Jacob's beard up and we clean the back of his neck up, but there's a little bit of hair still left under the collar. So normally the second to last thing we would need to do is to actually pop the cape open, take the neck strip out, make sure there's no little hairs that are going to fall, and then we have to bring our edgers back out. And what we're going to do is I'm going to start on the left hand side, and just down where the neck strip was sitting and where the cape is sitting, make sure there's still no little hairs that are growing there. And just follow right around to the right. Some people start on the right, some people start on the center, and then just brush them again to make sure that there's no little hairs there. Now, we're going to get Jacob to tip his head up a little bit, because there's a couple hairs here along where the neck strip was, where we took his beard off. Now try and hold your head up straight. Perfect. Yep. There's a couple little ones.
It does tickle on the neck, by the way.
And again, that's not an age thing. Some people's skin is just very, very sensitive. So that, and then what we do is we're going to slide the cape off. I'm going to go to the left, try and get all that hair off onto the floor, as opposed to onto Jacob. Now, just hold steady for a moment, Jacob, because I've got some hair right here on that. There we go. Okay. So that is the haircut.
Now, you forgot something again. You forgot to say that, because I usually what Aaron does is he lets me feel my hair. My hair.
I did forget that part. So you sit back and then run your fingers through your hair for me. Because also part of the deal is most sighted people just look in the mirror, they can see, they like it or they don't. Obviously, when you're using your fingers to see, there's a bit of a process where you actually just bring your hands around, and Jacob tends to do that. Brings his hands around, checks everything out.
So for you blind viewers, I can see that the back of my hair is very short to the side, but then the front of my hair is a good short. You know, we had to establish this as we went along, you know, and now he knows how I like my style.
I used to keep it much longer at the front.
Yes.
And it turns out he doesn't like to put the effort in to flip it over. So
Mhm.
we go for a much shorter, more utilitarian look.
Right, right. So, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this. It took a lot of time. I had to get all the special equipment. If you're ever in Kirkland Lake and you know you need a haircut and you want a good place to go to, you can go to Aaron. If you're a boy or a man, you can go to Aaron and he'll gladly take you. I want to make sure I'm saying this right here. Yeah. If you're a lady, well,
I do short haircuts.
yeah, he does do short haircuts. So
regardless of gender, I do short haircuts.
yeah. So if you have short hair and you're looking for a place to get a haircut, come to Aaron and he'll gladly take you. I really hope you enjoyed this guys, and thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. All right, that's it.